Up, Up and Away in My Beautiful Balloon. Lyrics from the 1967 classic Fifth Dimension song. That would never have been possible if not for innovation and risk. Hi, I'm Chris May, host of This Day in Weather History, a podcast from the Weather Network in Canada. I Love Paris in the Springtime by Cole Porter is another modern music classic, and by now, you're probably wondering, where in the world am I going with these old music references? Today is the day when, back in 1783, wonder, romance, beauty, and physics came together, resulting in the first untethered hot air balloon flight over Paris. This day in weather history. Since the beginning of human time on this planet, they have dreamed of leaving the ground and being like the winged creatures they saw in the skies. How is it, they wondered, that this beast can both walk on earth and soar among its clouds? Greek mythology has the classic tale of Daedalus, who made wings out of wax. Plus, you have likely seen the historic drawings and sketches of Leonardo da Vinci and his vision for flying machines, which included the concept of a helicopter back in the 15th century. Little did he know that it would not be until the late 1780s when the first actual successful test of human flight would become a reality. On June 21st, 1783, French physician Jean-François Pilatre de Rosier and François Laurent, the Marquis d'Arlandes, set in motion an innovation that would eventually lead our species to finally find their way into the skies through flight. They flew the first ever untethered hot air balloon flight 5.5 miles, it's about 9 kilometers, over the city of Paris, and they stayed aloft for 25 minutes. And although we have transatlantic flights that are in the air at all hours of the day, all day, every day, and although we have had the Concorde jet, the rocket, the space shuttle, supersonic jet fighters, and even an international space station, today we still love the almost 240-year-old hot air balloon, as you can see them in the air over Europe and at festivals all over the world. Now, the first incarnation of this modern wonder, however, was made of a cloth fabric, which in itself was a bit insane, but so was the idea of the Greek god Daedalus, who made his wings out of wax. At any rate, this first run of the world's first successful hot air balloons was invented by French papermaking brothers Jacques-Étienne and Joseph-Michel Montgolfier. The brothers discovered that combustible materials that burned under a lightweight paper or fabric bag would cause the bag to rise into the air. They originally concluded that it was the billowing smoke that caused the balloons to rise, but they were papermakers and not physicists. We know that it is the hot air that causes balloons to rise, but regardless of this, their experiments were working, and this did not get in the way or slow down any of their continued success. And with this, on June 4th of 1783, the brothers gave their first public demonstration of their discovery in Annonay. Like modern-day space programs, they launched an unmanned balloon that was heated by burning straw and wool. And I'm still struggling to see how this did not end in disaster, but thank goodness it didn't. Their first public balloon rose 3,000 feet into the air before successfully settling to the ground a short distance away. It must have been for them as exciting as it was for Elon Musk when he finally watched his external rocket boosters settle back to Earth and land themselves upright for recycled use, thus thrusting the space program into a whole new era. What started with a cloth balloon was the fire that started what we have today, looking to go to other planets in our solar system and beyond. That's pretty crazy when you think of it. Okay, stop me if you've heard this one before. A sheep, a rooster, and a duck get into a hot air balloon made out of paper. It sounds like the beginning of a stand-up routine, but on September 19th, the Montgolfiers sent these 3 bewildered animals aloft in one of their balloons in a prelude to the first manned flight. And this occasion was just as grand, if not a touch ostentatious. The balloon, styled with the royal fleur-de-lis, rose up from its mooring in the courtyard of the Palace of Versailles in the presence of King Louis XVI. So it was set. We have to send humans aloft next, they said. 2 months after this spectacle, at Versailles, the first untethered hot air balloon flight occurred before a large, expectant crowd in Paris on November 21st. Humanity had, at long last, and after dreaming for millennia, finally conquered the sky. This day in weather history. Tomorrow is November 22nd, and this is the day when, in 2003, another innovation that would change the course of humanity took place. This was the occasion of the first ever regular season NHL hockey game being played outdoors, where, over a century earlier, the game had first been dreamed up and developed. There had been exhibition versions of this before, and I've covered all of them on this podcast already, but this was different. And, just like the hot air balloon, its first edition was a grand, if not ostentatious, event, also involving royalty. You'll find out what I mean when we're back here tomorrow on This Day in Weather History with me, your host, Chris May.